I wish you could taste what I'm chewing on now, because I'm wanting to share this humble pie with a lot of people. I was one of the many that said Bute will win this fight by unanimous decision. Obviously that didn't actually happen. In fact, Bute went and probably lost almost every round in the first 5. It was honestly shocking. He didn't really have any idea what he was doing in there. The first problem obviously was he couldn't actually work Froch out. He didn't know when he was going to jump in, when he was not. He was on the back foot for the second Froch and he couldn't effectively come forward. And when he was on the back foot himself, he couldn't keep his chin out of the way of Froch's right hand, which, due to him being a southpaw, also made him highly more vulnerable to that right hand. And he got clipped with it in the first round, and the second round, and the third round. You know, just to point this out, I'm going to be watching this fight pretty much all day today, so I don't think in the first 3 rounds many of those shots were actually, the type of punches that he actually knocked him out with. These were just clipping shots that they were just clipping his chin with, and his chin was buckling under the pressure. I don't know if either Bute has just the weakest chin in the division. Maybe there's something to do with infection he had in training, or maybe Carl Froch is just the hardest puncher in the division. Somehow I've got a feeling it's a mixture of all 3. I don't think that it was totally to do with Bute having a total weak chin. I think he has a chin, but not a great one. I think that maybe the infection took something out of his game, and I think Carl Froch hits hard and he's never had to deal with anything like that before. So a mixture of all 3. Next minute, I just want to say that all the damage was done in, round 4. I think it was round 4. Froch had him on the ropes in round 3. He landed a few good punches, and then he went back to his corner, a bit gingerly like, but he went back to his corner, came out in round 4, and this was where the damage was done. Like I said, what happened was Bute was doing well in the first 2 minutes. He kept off the ropes, he kept circling Froch. He didn't let Froch get his punches off. He made Froch miss wildly at one point, which was decent for Bute. But then the last minute, this is why I gave the round heavily to Carl Froch, because he threw the round away. He stood on the ropes for the final minute. He got clipped by a good shot. It was a good shot, this one, but he was on the ropes. He couldn't get off the ropes, and he just landed. Froch landed so many punches on him. He couldn't get out the way. He was standing there, took the punches. He didn't go down. He was out on his feet though, I'll tell you that. He somehow made it back to his corner. I don't know how, because he could have made it back to his dressing room before he made it back to his corner if he took any more of them shots. Jesus, he took some big shots in that round. And then, that must have absolutely kicked the stuffing out of him. He must have had no morale in that fight. The referee went over to have a look at him. I think his corners, I don't speak French, but I think his corner must have said, look, we're going to pull him out if he keeps getting hurt. And then, literally in round 5, straight away, Froch jumps on him. He's taking punches. He's sliding across the ropes now. He isn't even moving around very well. His movement was totally off in this fight. His once beautiful movement, like people have said, right, was just total flat-footed. He couldn't get his feet off the ground because he was so hurt. He was sliding across the ropes. Froch lands a few more punches, and then this is where the referee should have stopped it, in my opinion, right? Froch lands one punch that snaps his head right back. It was a sickening punch, and if you look from the reverse angle and you're looking at it from behind Froch's head, right, once he lands that punch, Bute just looks at the referee, and the look on his face, I'm not joking, I've thought about that look for a few times now, and he was just like, help me now, get me out of here, help, right? And he didn't. He took a few more punches. He went down. The ropes kept him up, like I said. He said the ropes kept him up, but he was down. The referee runs in, throws his arms in the air to say it's over, then starts counting. So Bute's corner were on the apron at that point, so the fight was over. The other guy running the ring, Eddie Hearn, so the fight was also over there as well. So the referee pretty much fecked it up there, but it was okay. Once that the guy got in the ring and went, no, look, it's all, we don't want to give him any more punishment. Call it a day, and they called it a day. Thank God for that. So I just want to say, before I go on to the next bit of this video, I would wish Bute all the best. I hope he doesn't take the rematch clause, because what's the point? You know, let's say that, what can you do different? You didn't do anything wrong. The only thing that you did wrong was you got absolutely slaughtered, totally frimponged by a Carl Froch who's as determined as hell. So much respect to Bute for taking the fight. You know, he has done his career a lot of disjustice by losing to Carl Froch, because now everyone's going to call him a bum and stuff like that. You know, maybe Carl Froch was just the man, you know. That's what I'm thinking. You know, now we look at it and say, where do they both go from here? And I think Carl Froch should take an easier defence, you know, take on a mandatory. That would be a decent idea. And then after that, go on to Kessler. Take Kessler again. Take the Kessler, come to the UK and fight me. You know, something was different about Carl Froch, especially when he's fighting in front of his hometown crowd. He was a beast tonight as well, and his whole performance was totally better than I've ever seen him before. So if he can come up with half of that against Michael Kessler, then I think he should get a victory and avenge that defeat on his record. One thing I'd just like to point out before I call it a day on this, basically Froch has never ever took an easy defence, had an easy way out. You know, he's never done that. He's always went straight in there, wait for the hard way. He's fought the best, kept the best. Maybe he should just now, you know, take a step back for a second, have an easy defence, come back, maybe if he has to, fight the Bute match. It's going to be a money spinner. Look out for number one now, Carl, because you are the best at super middleweight, especially in the UK. You're second behind Andre Ward. I wouldn't push for that rematch. There's no point. What's the point? I don't see a point in it. Let Andre Ward do what Andre Ward's doing. In other words, not doing anything right now. He's fighting a light heavyweight at super middleweight. Let him do that. You worry about fighting Michael Kessler. Maybe fighting someone like George Groves. Maybe unify with the WBO champion. Or maybe you can even fight one with Robert Stieglitz. And lastly, I just want to say, why does Carl Froch never get his dues? I think it's time he gets his dues now. You know, no one has ever fought such good competition on the back of each other consistently. Obviously, you're going to lose some if you eventually fight the best of the best and the best, you know. But no one has ever, only Mayweather, in fact, has fought the same type of opposition. Except even he hasn't fought it away from home. So, I think Carl Froch needs to get his dues. He's a real underrated guy, and he is definitely the second best middleweight in the country. Well, the world, sorry, world.